Hello, welcome back to the ministry. This is Taj McCameron, and today we are talking about something I saw on TV this morning. Look, I was like just waking up this morning, and my dad had on, I think it was Leave It to Beaver, because it just happened to be on TV, and Dennis the Menace came on after that, so it must have been Leave It to Beaver. And in this scene, because it was only like the last segment of the episode, it was a woman came to the family's house in the middle of the night and she's pregnant. And she was saying, "Oh, I don't want the crib and because I'm going to be leaving town." And she was talking about, "I'm going to go see my mother and this, that, and the other." And the woman was like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "I wanted the money back for the crib so I could have it for travel expenses." And the woman said, "Let me sit down and talk to you for a minute." And she was like, "Well, why would you feel like you had to leave?" And then she was talking about, the woman started to talk about the children or having a child because she was pregnant, and the fact that she had heard her say in frustration about something in relation to children, and she became scared. So the woman was explaining, you're going to go through things in your marriage, you're going to go through things in being a mother, but you're going to be able to do it and you're going to be all right. So what's the word that God was giving here? You could take this in multiple different ways. But I'm going to start here. The woman, she's pregnant. She is pregnant and she's looking into leaving. The first thing I thought of was Mary. Mary finds out she's pregnant and her and Joseph have to what? Leave. Okay? So she's looking to leave quickly. So she is pretty far along, which also brought me to Elizabeth, because remember, Elizabeth was about 6 months along when Mary came to visit her. And when do you not see the parallel? And this woman comes to visit in the middle of the night, and she's talking to her about trying to leave. She was going to her mother's. Now, when I think of mother, I think Holy Spirit. This woman was seeking instruction. She was concerned, confused, and this is where a lot of us are. A lot of us are spiritually pregnant with something, and we are in a weird place right now where we don't see a way out, right? We can't clearly define the steps of which way we are supposed to go. There's some things that I've been standing for in relation to, and I'm getting like understanding on it. And I just been noticing the things I've been praying about lately. I need understanding for this. I need understanding for this. This is confusing me. You are not a God of confusion, so why do I feel confused in this? So a lot of us are here. A lot of us are that Mary, are that Elizabeth, that are at that point in our pregnancy where we're like, oh my goodness, this baby is about to come. I don't even know what I want to do, whether I want to stay in a situation or go to where I need to go. Where is my next location? I was just sitting there watching a video talking about transitionary periods and going into transitions. And the fact of the matter is, when you're being prepared to transition, God don't give you all the instructions. He doesn't tell you where you're going or how you're going to get there. How does he normally say? Go to a place that I will show you. He didn't say he showed it to you before you got there or before you packed and got ready to leave. He said, go to a place. You know how backwards that line sound? Go to a place. And in the start of that, it kind of makes you think that you know where you're going. But the last part said, I'll show it to you. Meaning you got to start walking in the direction of, then I'll show you where. Okay? Some of us have had to do that. But let's look at the story of Mary and Joseph, right? When Mary and Joseph were preparing, they now knew that Mary was pregnant, and they had to embark on the journey for her to be covered during that time frame of her pregnancy. They were moving all over the place. Right? Ain't nobody say that she was set up somewhere all cushy in a nice little location that was set up for her to be pregnant in, and then she gave birth and everything was cool. Nah, they were moving around. They were on camels. They had donkeys. They was doing, by the time it came for her to give birth, she was out there. The inn was full and she had to give birth in a barn. Some of you, just like this woman, became scared. Some of you have been carrying something for a while now. Well, you want me to share that dream? There was a dream I had a few years back. I got it written in one of my journals. And in it, I saw a woman that was heavily pregnant being rushed to the hospital while they were planning for their wedding, meaning they were supposed to be going to their wedding or getting ready, planning their wedding, but she was already pregnant, ready to go to the hospital to deliver 2 babies. And it's funny, this morning I was looking at a video from the girl Shantasia, and she talked about, you've been carrying twins all this time. That's why it's been so hard. And the thing that I found that was interesting, which I knew it was God, was when the woman's husband he was coming to get the, baby crib. And he was going to do it to surprise her. I've been seeing this over and over and over and over. Your husband is prepared a place for you. There are things that you gonna need when you get to where you're going that he's already gonna have. And the Lord confirmed that in a prayer time a couple days ago that I was sitting with the Lord with. And in that, even the fact that this man was getting the baby crib, he's going to have a place for your babies, meaning the things that you are spiritually birthing, to go. Okay? A crib is where you put the baby after it comes out, right? That's where the baby sleeps. It's a place of intimacy for the baby. Your husband's not only going to cover you, he's going to be covering the things that you birth. He's going to give them a safe resting place. Come on, Jesus. There are things, if she hadn't been there, she'd have never known. There are things that your husband is doing that you don't know nothing about in preparation for what's going to be birthed out of you. Okay, come here, Lord. Keep it coming. Now, the funny thing about it, and this was the confirmation, the woman's name was not Ruth, it was Esther. Come on now. When they called her Esther, I just about fell out. I was like, now I know. And this is the one thing. Does anybody recall if Esther had any children? I don't. And this is probably one of the reasons why they believe that she wasn't part of the Bible, because there was no lineage. You understand what I'm saying? In order for her to be part of the lineage, she would have had to birth out something, shouldn't she? In order for that child or children to be considered part of the lineage of. Maybe I missed it, but I don't recall ever hearing Esther having given birth to anything. But what am I saying of the juxtaposition of this? Some of you are being prepared to be exalted, but you have been carrying something God has been desiring for you to birth, and you're about to be exalted into your position. You have been concerned, and there have been a set of things that you have been fearful of into crossing over into the position to be responsible for whatever you're carrying, because you know that once you cross over into that place, that the things you're carrying must be birth, and you're going to have to be responsible for them. The woman came there because she was concerned about the fact that it was a word that the Beaver mother used in relation to like almost desiring to be rid of her children. And she was like, no, I wasn't saying that. There are going to be times, one, as we know, Levi, we gonna call him, has a tendency to twist scenarios to bring about a level of fear. Didn't I tell you about the jump scare? You see something as one thing, but when you look back, it's completely different. There are things that you've seen that are going to be on the opposite side of what you're crossing into that have brought you a level of fear. But it wasn't until she came back to her and got the straight story. There is a scripture that talks, having aught with your brother, you're supposed to talk to them about it. It's when you conversate, communication is key, that when you communicate, something that you may have viewed one way is given clarity in relation to whatever that was. You understand what I'm saying? So you will get a clearer picture to what God is trying to show you if you just look again. Some people, and this is what the devil banks on, no looking again. That the thing that he showed you the first time will scare you so much that you won't look back again. I won't look back at that. I won't try that a second time. I did it, didn't work the first time. I'm not doing it again. You see how this works? So she's in fear. But I heard somebody say this, and it's a perfectly good example. When a woman is pregnant, when it's time for that baby to come out, there is no stopping that baby from coming out. It's gonna come out. Because when that contraction hits to say it's time, it's going to go through its processing to get out of your body in whatever way in which it has to. And you're just going to have to sit in that moment and deal with the pain, the cramps, the what have you. And let me just say this right now. I feel like I am in a birthing season. I remember Lady Jeremiah released a word a while back. I might have to look at that. Look it up just for understanding's sake. Because, man, I went through the past few day period where I was dizzy. I was nauseous. I was this. I was that. I was going through some things. I had pain. A pain shot through my back. I was like, I must be spiritually birthing something because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And I'm like, what? And some of you're at that point. You're at the point of birthing. You're about to go into labor. Some of you are in labor. Some of you are in the birthing canal, meaning you're in position to birth whatever it is that God has called you to do. There ain't no running from this thing. It's happening. It's coming. Them contractions is hitting. Some of y'all have been experiencing spiritual contraction for the past few months. That's why the Lord had you go through certain forms of consecration before Him so that when those spiritual contractions hit, it wouldn't be so hard. And some of y'all got scared. You know how I was listening to the story, I think it was Call Me Ruby, was telling the story about when she went into labor with one of her kids, and she was like, the first couple of contractions, she's like, I wanted to have a supernatural regular birth in order for the Lord to show me that I could take care of it. That contraction hit me so hard. I was like, oh no, I hit about, she said she had gone through a couple of them contractions. She was like, can I get an epidural? Some of y'all been getting them spiritual contractions. You was like, Jesus, can we get a quick C-section? Can I get an epidural? This don't. Anything to numb this uncomfortableness? What are we doing? How are we doing this? Because this is, I told you I was nauseous. I was dealing with, dizzy spells. I was dealing with, now some of that, in some seasons, that can be witchcraft. I'm going to be honest with you. But in a season when you're birthing, that's the process in relation to you getting ready to birth. I was listening to both Christ. She was talking about what your body goes through just before a woman goes to birth. Meaning the cleaning out of the body. I remember I watched a video. It was an old YouTuber that was an influencer I used to follow. And when she got ready to have her baby, she talked about something I never heard nobody talk about. Even to this day, I still don't hear nobody talk about it. It's called a mucus plug. And this mucus plug comes out, could be within 24 to 48 hours of the baby being delivered. And it's literally a huge clot of mucus mixed with blood. Some of y'all have been in that phase where you seeing something that don't look right. Jump scare. Something makes you scared. It's like, oh Lord, if I'm seeing this, what's this mean? And that's going to be about that thing that's going to give you a sign you about to go into contractions. You're about to go into labor. The woman didn't end up going into labor till that night. She was out all day. She called her friend. She called her mom just because she was like, Mommy, I don't know what this is. Why is this huge cloud of mucus coming out of me? She called her best friend who had already had 2 kids and was like, friend, I don't know what this cloud of mucus is. It's what is this? And she's like, oh, that's just a mucus plug. It's a sign that the baby getting ready to come down. Some of y'all are seeing certain things in your atmosphere on the edge of your sight getting a little weird. And because you're starting to see those things, you're like, they're starting to look weird, God. What is this? But you're also starting to feel the physical feelings of the contractions, the physical queasiness, the physical clearing out of the body, the physical, all this type of stuff as the Lord is preparing you. And you're like, Jesus, what is going on? While at the same time, God's giving you information. The whole time I was dealing with, I'll be honest with you, I went through an experience the other night and my mouth was watering. I was like, what's going on with me? Oh my God, I hope I'm not getting sick. Whole time I'm listening to something. It was giving me revelation about some things. And I'm like, this must be part of what's being birthed. Because the whole time, it didn't stop till after I listened to it. It was about a half hour after I finished listening to it, did the mouth watering stop. I was like, what? Then I went into prayer for a period of time, and the mouth watering came back just before I ate. And I was like, what is this? So what it is you're in the process of birthing. You're being prepared to, and some of y'all been scared. Some of y'all have looked at your previous scenarios of what you went to, because God may have taken you through a wilderness already once, and because you know you're headed into another transition, you're like, yo, that last transition was, that was for the birds. That was not easy. I did not like that, but from what I'm understanding is this next transition, you ain't doing it alone. I have been seeing 11:17, which means, hold on. And I will come down and talk with you there, and I will take and put upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, that you may not bear it yourself. God is bringing people into your life that are going to help you, which actually confirms the word I was just looking at. The Lord brought up a word from Dana Ray that I watched like 6-7 months ago called Pack Light. And in it, she was talking about somebody was coming in the scenario where they were trying to help her carry something, and she was like, no, because the person looked like they were too old to be able to carry it. And she was like, no. And she was saying that there are people coming to help you. They may not even look like they're capable of helping you, but they're coming to assist you to get you where God needs you to be. God is bringing your angelic assistance and escort in order to get you where you need to go. And because of this, you got to be willing to and desiring. We just gonna have to deal with the dog in the background. If you hear him, you hear him. All right, he just started barking, so I can't do nothing about that. I was trying to pause and hope until he stopped, but he didn't. He might have stopped now. I don't know. But what I was saying was, some of you gonna have to, be aware of that fact that there are going to be people to help you carry what it is you have. And a lot of you, because you are heavily pregnant, God has given you more than one child to birth. You have to be trusting. You want me to say that, Lord? Okay. There was something that the Lord showed me in a dream a long time ago. I had a plan. And he showed me this particular person that I was supposed to let in on the plan, but I was hoarding the plan. And because I was hoarding it, it was causing conflict between me and this person. Because I was not trusting the plan to them. And it was leaving them in a state of being a little bit frustrated. And some of you are carrying the plan. You have the schematic. You have the architectural design of what this thing needs to be developed, but you not just giving it. And side note, ooh, you want me to say that in this? Jesus. Some of your God ordained spouses were operating in a spirit of divination at one particular point in time, and they were trying to figure out what you knew. And this is why you couldn't give it to them, and they were frustrated because they couldn't get it in the way that they was trying to get it from you. Okay, thank you for the revelation for that. I didn't know. Okay. That's that. Take that, whoever needs it. So they wasn't gonna be able to get it from you until they came to God, because getting it any other type of way. So that's what that meant. All right. So you're carrying. And it even comes in alignment with the fact that her husband came to get the baby crib. Some of your spouses were trying to prepare a place for you, but they didn't understand that that's what they were doing. Meaning they were operating in the wrong spirit and were aligning certain things because they were getting the wrong information with wrong people in their ear. And they were preparing certain things, but didn't realize they were preparing it for you anyway. So there was a whole bunch of misconstruction of information due to Levi. You know who I'm talking about. Figure it out. Levi and his miscommunication issues. So when the husband came, the wife heard everything that he said, and she went and she hugged him. She's like, everything is gonna be all right. God knows what he's doing. God has given your God ordained spouse instructions. He's gonna know what to do when he comes to get you. If he's called to come get you, or you are to meet him in whatever way that's meant to be, he's gonna know what he needs to do. He's smarter than what it looks like. They got eyes to see and ears to hear. They may have not at first listened to the instructions, because depending on what they were doing, going through, or experiencing, they may have thought they was going out their heads when God first started talking to them. When God first starts talking to you, it can make you feel a little, what? Anybody remember those Samuel moments? Was it Samuel? Samuel and I forget who it was. But when he started to hear God, and the guy told him, ask him what he wants. Inquire to the Lord. Some of your spouses need to do that. Some of you, in order to prevent confusion, you needed to ask for wisdom and understanding. A lot of you I've been in that headspace lately. It's wisdom and understanding. A whole lot of confusion can be avoided if you ask for wisdom and understanding. Ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Misconstruction of message and information. You're going to carry these babies, and they are going to be fine. Some of you operate in fear of what you're about to see. You ain't seen it yet, but it's about to come. And when you get there, it's going to make a whole lot more sense. Y'all been operating level of jump scare because the enemy got you in fear, because you still see yourself on this side, but you spiritually are already exalted to that side, Esther. And you in a jump scare because you're afraid to look, because of all of the stuff that you heard. You ever heard a pregnant woman sit and talk to every other pregnant woman that has already given birth, and they tell them horror stories? Oh, it's going to be like this, and it's going to be like that, and it's going to be like this, and it's going to be like that. And that woman terrified to go into that labor and delivery room. Some of you've been hearing, oh, it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that. It's gonna. And you've been like, no, I don't want to. I don't think I want to deal with that. I don't think I want to do it. You hear friends of yours who got kids already, got certain responsibilities. They crying and whining about their responsibilities, and you're like, I don't know if I want that responsibility. I don't want that headache. God, how can we adjust this that I not have that kind of warfare in relation to this thing? Because in your word it promises a covenant of peace, is Ezekiel 37:26. So I want the covenant of peace and an exemplary, and I want an extraordinary. I don't want what they dealing with. Let theirs be theirs, but I want mine. You realize if you speak it into existence, hello. Because just because it was their experience didn't mean it had to be your experience. A lot of people in Christianity will be cutthroat towards you, jealous and envious because you had the audacity to pray that. How dare you pray that you wanted peace? I didn't get peace because I knew who I was praying to. So I'm not going to experience what you had to experience because I had wisdom to pray it and stand for it. Some of your own people will look at you like, how dare you get that and I didn't, because you didn't pray for it. You didn't yield and wield these scriptures the right way, and I got a different result than you got because you weren't operating in that level of obedience. Alright? So I'm in this word and I'm going to come back because I got another little short one or another word for you.